All right, so in this video, I'm going to discuss the history and timeline on the Adidas Ultraboost, and I wanted to take it back a little bit to do this video and then kind of show you guys at least 30 different versions of the Ultraboost that we've seen to date in 2022. So hopefully you guys like this video. Buckle up, it's going to be a long one, and let's go ahead and get into it. This video is going to be sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and playoff time is always a ton of fun to see what is happening in the league. And if you guys use my link in the description to sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win, and they will automatically get $150 in free bets. Daily customers can check out the app, and they do have a happy hour super boost, which is kind of fun to partake in. And every day between 4 and 7 p.m., they do have special odd boosts. If DraftKings Sportsbook is not available in your area yet, you could still go ahead and check out the daily fantasy contests. DraftKings will have millions of dollars in prizes every week of the season. Once again, if you want to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use my code heskicks in the description of the video, and just $5 on any basketball team will get you $150 in free bets. I personally like to use DraftKings for some added entertainment, and if you guys are interested in doing that, again, check the link in the description. And new customers bet $5, you get $150 in free bets instantly. And thank you, DraftKings, for sponsoring this video. I'm an avid fan of the product. I actually use the sports betting app on a weekly basis, just checking out the things, and it helps me kind of keep track of what games are actually being played. On top of that, I actually own some stock in DraftKings as well, just kind of a fun thing that I have on Robinhood. But anyway, getting into the video, let's go ahead and jump in. We have a lot of pairs of Adidas Ultraboost to get into, like so many pairs. And I wanted to start off at the beginning and just give you kind of a history, a little backstory on some of the product, and then we'll get into the products themselves. First things first, what is Adidas Boost technology? Because this is the integral part of the Adidas Ultraboost, the technology in the midsoles. Adidas Boost is basically thousands of thermoplastic polyurethane particles that expand and form a closed cell around tiny pockets of air. The product is then known as expanded thermoplastic polyurethane, or ETPU. Boost is very soft and responsive, but really known for the energy returns. So in the past, I have a Boost ball, you drop it and it bounces right back. I mean, it definitely has a lot of spring action, but again, the soft squishy feel of that is what helps allow that to be. Boost has really been at the forefront, in my opinion, of sneaker cushioning technologies just excelling to the next level. Because of what they've been able to create with this, other companies have done something that's fairly similar to that and created their own different versions. Also, they're not the first to create their own proprietary foam. Obviously, Nike had Lunarlon, and there's a bunch of different other things out there, but they're the ones that did it the best to start out and really, again, changed the landscape of what we've seen. Adidas Boost technology had its first pair of sneakers drop in 2013, but it was not the Ultraboost, it was actually the Energy Boost. In 2014, the Adizero Adios Boost actually wins at a Berlin Marathon, and that was definitely a pivotal moment for this sneaker cushioning. Now, right before the Adidas Ultraboost came out, the Adidas Pure Boost came out, and that was the lifestyle one that got me into Adidas Boost from the very beginning. Tried on that shoe, and before that, it was like the Nike Roshi Run that was supposed to be the one that was comfortable. But then you tried on the Pure Boost, and it was just unbelievably soft and squishy in the midsole. It was like the first time I was like, this is like insane. Like the feeling was magical. But basically, that was the one that came out before the Adidas Ultraboost. If you guys actually want to buy a pair of Adidas Ultraboost sneakers that are currently in rotation right now, I will link them over to Adidas in the description below. So feel free to go check them out if you guys would like. And then in 2015, the Adidas Ultraboost arrives, and this model is definitely the one that kind of changed the landscape for Adidas in the next handful of years. It's a very simple construction on the upper, but the overall aesthetics of the shoe is just a beautiful looking shoe. But then you have the crazy midsole, and the Boost pellets fused together and into the Ultraboost definitely is one of the most recognizable midsoles of pretty much any sneaker at this point going forward. It features a stretchy, breathable, prime-knit upper that was definitely something that was nice and welcome, made your toes feel nice and free when you're walking around in these things. It had the plastic TPU cage for the laces and then the plastic TPU heel cup on the back as well. Just more iconic parts of the Ultraboost. And then it didn't have a detached tongue. It was actually an attached tongue, but the spacing from the tongue and the heel is very generous, and it was really easy to slide your foot in and out of the shoe, regardless if you had a wide foot. And so this is the humble beginnings of the Adidas Ultraboost. Now, this is the first colorway. They had a bunch of different colorways that ended up dropping in that 1.0 pattern. Most notably, the white colorway that Kanye West wore at the Billboard Music Awards. And as soon as he wore those ones, they ended up selling out immediately after that. We also saw black, white, orange, yellow, mist gray, wool gray, chalk cream, and so on of the 1.0. Notably though, the chalk cream one, as well as a few others, I believe, actually started to shift to the 2.0 outsole traction. So The first versions had rounded nibs on the bottom. The 2.0 onward actually had flattened nibs on the bottom. So the chalk cream had the 1.0 upper, but it actually had the flat nibs on the bottom as well. So the eruption of the Ultraboost on the scene was definitely something that was seen from the runner's perspective, but it was also seen from the consumer's perspective like myself, which is lifestyle. And a lot of people actually cut the plastic TPU cage off for the laces, and Adidas kind of responded to this in 2016 by releasing an uncaged version of the Adidas Ultraboost. They also released a women's exclusive Ultraboost X, which was kind of interesting. And then after that, the Ultraboost 2.0 came. It featured a different knit pattern on the upper of the shoe. And then also, I believe this version had prime knit all the way through the collar and the tongue of the shoe. The first version actually had a mesh. But ultimately, this kind of set the tone for the next handful of different releases because we saw a different knit pattern. The 1.0 was dubbed. Now we have the 2.0, which is the next version. And then the slew of Adidas Ultraboost collabs would soon follow. We saw so many different collabs with like Kith, Hypebeast, Woodwood, S&S, Reigning Champs, and so on. We also did see some My Adidas options surface for these, but it was in very limited numbers for the Lady Liberty collection, which is the one that I got right here. Also in 2016, we saw a preview of what was to come with the Parley Ultraboost, and this version basically had recycled ocean plastics for the upper. At the time, it was kind of unheard of, but as you'll see, that's definitely something that makes a mainstay within Adidas products. And just a sidebar, if I don't get something historically accurate in this video, please just drop a comment in the comment section and correct me, because I was trying to do as much as I could for this from memory and a little bit from research. But obviously there's a lot of stuff to keep in mind. Anyway, in 2017, the Adidas Ultraboost 3.0 came out, which if I remember correctly, there was a lot of anticipation and build up for the 3.0, and it kind of released, and a lot of people felt like it was a lackluster release. The knit pattern was interesting. It wasn't as exciting as what people were expecting. I did, however, create my own Xeno version, which was a huge plus for me because I remember the ZX Flux when it came out. The Xeno version of that was insane. The reflectiveness is the Xeno, for those that didn't know. But the reflectiveness on the laces and the heel was just nuts on these things. So it was really fun to be able to create my own in the 3.0 pattern. Also in 17, we also saw an expansion of the Adidas Ultraboost line, and this is the Adidas Atr, one of my favorite shoes, one that was really deep discounted, down to like low 60s at retail towards the end of its life cycle. But it's such a comfortable pair of sneakers, but it's a mid-top version of the Ultraboost. You could see with the mock tongue added to the top, and then the sock liner feel around. There's no lace cages on the side, but it does have the heel cup, and you have more of a rugged traction. I believe this is the first time they did more of a rugged traction on the Ultraboost, but it does have the same integrity of the Ultraboost midsole. It was water resistant, but I wouldn't say waterproof. It is prime knit upper on this as well. Something that would repel rain a little bit, but not like a faucet. Then also in 17, they had the laceless version of the Ultraboost, which is a different version than the uncaged. And actually the laceless is one of the few that I don't think I actually ever tried. Also on My Adidas, you had the option for the Ultraboost in the multicolor form, and I believe, if I remember correctly, this is the last time we saw My Adidas in general. It kind of just went away, but I wish Adidas would bring that back. I feel like they could totally feast in that, and a lot of people would do like a 1.0 pattern with just different colors and stuff. It would be pretty fun to see. 2018 hits, we have the Ultraboost 4.0, and this version is one that I personally like. It's one of my favorites. It kind of has an interesting look on the upper, and again, you do have prime knit through the entire upper, including the tongue and the back collar. But I think at this point, most of the hype has stopped following the Ultraboost. However, it still has a mainstay of followers and people that do appreciate the product, like myself. And so I have quite a few pairs of the 4.0. I believe in 2018, Adidas also released its first pair of Parley Ultraboost. And this Parley version, I actually did a shaving cream dye to make it look like an ocean. Pretty crazy. But Parley has a mainstay again with Adidas. Adidas also released a Clima version of the Ultraboost, which has more ventilation holes in the tongue, as well as like the mesh lace cage on the sides. This is not the 2018 version. I'm just showing you guys. 2019, they shake things up quite a bit with the Adidas Ultraboost 19. So it's the 2019 version. It's a completely ground up build of the Ultraboost. It definitely wasn't received very well from sneaker folks. They wanted to see more of the OG stuff. So when they didn't initially bring a 5.0, people were like, what is this thing? I personally love this shoe though. The midsole change was definitely a welcome change. I like the aesthetics of this shoe as well. The OG styling though, you can't really go wrong with. But I like now we have an evolutionary track of the Ultraboost as well as the mainstay. While they have the 19s, they're not discontinuing the OG styling of the Ultraboost. We do have the Ultraboost DNA line as well as the S&L line. This is a suede and leather line. So this one offers obviously suede and leather. Suede on the toe and heel cup, and then leather on the lace cage. We have another version of the Adidas Ultraboost. This is the Guard version or the All-Terrain. It was actually named two different things, not to be confused with the ATR from the previous release, but All-Terrain or Guard, it was a weatherproof a pair that was kind of nice to see. I actually gave my pair to my brother. Since it's a new year, Adidas brings out a new Ultraboost, and so we saw the Adidas Ultraboost 2020, which looks very similar to the 19s, but differences in the cages and stuff. But primarily the outsole and the midsole are the same. We saw the first collaboration with Beyonce and Adidas as well with the Ivory Park line, but this is not the one from 2019. We also did see a 2020 cold ready or winter ready version of the Adidas Ultraboost, which did feature a winter grip on the bottom, waterproof upper, and just letting us know Adidas is going to start going down this path of creating summer and winter versions of the Ultraboost. So then we have the 2020 summer ready version, which has a lot more breathable material on the upper. But we also have another odd duck that they're throwing in the mix. This was the Ultraboost PB, which is personal best, I believe, but it definitely kind of has a summer ready vibe. And this pair had a very breathable upper on it, but it had a fixed tongue. It was a little bit difficult to get on. We also did see the Ultraboost 5.0 release in 2020, which had a combination of a bunch of different elements from the 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's at least a dozen different versions of the Ultraboost in 2021 and 2022. So rounding out the video, the Ultraboost 6.0, which had a different tongue on the upper. And I forgot to mention, but starting in 2020-ish, we started to see a lot more prime blue and prime green products from Adidas, which means there's recycled content in the upper, probably at least 50%, so they say on their website. But this one has a recycled upper on this version, as well as the plastic TPU and heel cage, so very much recycled material going on here. We also got the Ultraboost 21, which has a massive stack of boost on the back. It's a very, very polarizing looking pair of sneakers. A lot of people really love it or hate it. Kind of similar to the response of the 19s when they first came out. I personally really like this one. I got, I think, 5 different colorways of this one. And it has kind of similar detailings of the original Ultraboost, but obviously some things that are very unique to this one as well. Bringing these ones back out, but we did get a color changing Ultraboost in 2021. So the Clima version actually changes color on the upper. I haven't seen this on too many other pairs, but something that's noteworthy. We also got a Parley version of the Ultraboost in 2021, and this is actually a different model than the base model. The midsole and outsole is the same, but the upper is completely different and unique to its own version of the 2021. And speaking of unique, we have the made to be remade Ultraboost that has a upper that's made from recycled content, and you basically wear the sneakers and then send them back to Adidas and they shred them and make them into more shoes. This was the very first time we saw something like this, a very unique concept. Definitely a very unique and interesting concept, and I actually just reviewed the 2022 version of these, which is pretty much the same thing, just a black upper instead of the white. And then also in 2021, we also got the Climacool version of the Ultraboost, which features a completely different upper on here, but has the same stylings of the Ultraboost 20. However, you get the Climacool vents on the sides, and then I love the knit pattern too. It just looks completely different across the toe box. A very interesting shoe, definitely one I need to get cleaned on my pair, but a fun one nonetheless. So now here it is, 2022, a couple months in, we already have a bunch of different versions of the Ultraboost, including the Ultraboost 2022. Now technically this came out in 2021, but for the sake of mentioning it, the 2022 version looks very similar to the 21. I did a video showing all the small changes to the newer version, but it is definitely very, very similar to the previous version, which for me personally, I think is a good thing. I really like the previous version, and I think it's important that they recycle the outsole and the midsole at least a couple times before they move on to the next version. Otherwise, the cost for creating these things would just get crazy. In 2021, we also did get the Ultraboost Cold Ready, which this version is super dope because it does have that old school mock tongue right here versus the newer versions. It's basically a mismatch between the old versions of the Ultraboost OGs put on top of the body of the Ultraboost 21 with the winterized grip on the bottom. Super, super nice pair. Super fun pair, in my opinion. For 2022, we got the Cold Ready 2022 version here, and you could see the upper is a little bit different. The upper is different than the regular 22, so it does have a unique styling for the upper, and then it does have kind of a mesh across the toe box. It's not waterproof, but it's supposed to have a little bit more materials on here. However, for warmer materials, if you're going to go with something, go with this version right here, which is the Cold Ready Lab. This version has incredible heat going on here. By far the warmest Ultraboost that I've tried on my feet. Has really crazy padding here, and it is a laceless version as well. Just did a review on these things and definitely like this model also. But if heat is not your thing, you want something more water resistant, they have this version. This is actually the Ultraboost 21 Gore-Tex, which does have the same sort of vibe as the Cold Ready 22s on the upper, but this is called the 21 Gore-Tex version, and the waterproof on this is really, really good. If you haven't seen the video on these, it's really pretty incredible stuff. But very water resistant, very nice pair of Ultraboost, and it might be the only one with a zipper on it that I recall, as you can see right here on the side. And another first, I believe, is you have an encased boost midsole on here, but this is the web version of the Ultraboost. It has the OG styling with a 1.0 upper, And then the crazy encased boost on the midsole, which does feel soft. It's softer and squishier than normal for some reason. The pellets don't look as merged, so I'm not sure what they used here, but definitely an interesting product and a fun looking one, especially from like a distance. And then so far this year, we do have a Climacool 2.0, which is interesting because the Climacool version 1 is kind of themed after the Ultraboost 20. This one's themed after the OG or the DNA version of the Ultraboost, but I do like this one. It's very breathable on the sides. You can see the Climacool vents are very huge, and then nice perforation holes on the toe box. A great summer option right here, something I'm going to be wearing this upcoming year. A couple pairs for honorary mention that I might have forgotten through this video that I just randomly grabbed. We have the ST version from 2015, one of my favorites if you guys have been a fan of the channel for a long time. This stability version was one of my favorites because it had a detached tongue, and as a wide footer, I always like to be able to have the detached tongue. I cut the cages off of this one, really love that model. Had probably 4 or 5 different versions of that. Also, we do have the Lego version from 2021. This came out with a Lego collaboration. That since the original one, they've had a ton of different versions with the Lego, but interesting one with the Lego block look on the toe box. And then you can actually put Lego blocks and with the 3 stripes on the side, so kind of cool. Also in 2020, they released a cageless version of the Ultraboost, which I believe was the first one other than a collaboration to release without the lace cage on the side in the OG styling with the OG nick pattern of the 1.0, so noteworthy for sure. And then also in 2019, they did have a leather version of the Ultraboost, which this one I did a cartoon effect to. I actually really like it. Some people don't like it at all, but they had a black and a white version in leather. So that's a little timeline of the Adidas Ultraboost. Long-term fan of the product. It will be interesting to see where they go in the future, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like. I've been having these sneakers sit on the pile on the side of my room for like 2 months. It's been an eyesore, so if you do drop a like, it is much appreciated. Once again, if you want to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use my code HESKICKS in the description of the video. Download the app, and just $5 on any basketball team will get you $150 in free bets. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day out there, and we'll catch you back on the channel very soon. All right, peace guys.